There are a lot of ideas and opinions on relationships these days. Several relationship experts provide their unique views on how to bond with women and create long-lasting relationships. Indeed, all men and women aren't the same. However, there are things you can do as a man that will surely attract women towards you. There are certain ways you can act around her, and she'll automatically like you because her brain will respond positively to these actions. With that being said, what's the most important variable for attracting women?
I have to assume yes, right? Because the last thing you want is someone with a ton of reproductive potential, resource potential, who's going to treat you like garbage. Chances are they're not going to stay with you. Or you're going to be there, but then they're going to bring in other mates. And so when you look at the roots of jealousy and concerns about infidelity, or you look at the roots of sort of like concerns about resource potential, all that, it all kind of makes sense in this very old-fashioned model. It also makes sense in the model that we live in now. Kindness toward each other is fundamentally the most important variable.
Women always choose differently when selecting sex partners versus when selecting a long-term relationship partner. We all know the drill when it comes to choosing sex partners. Most women will go for the man who seems strong, athletic, and with good genes. For instance, a woman can easily fall for a guy at a club and sleep with him the same night. However, chances are very high that if the same guy were to make a marriage proposal, she would say no. This same factor is why ladies drool when they see bodybuilders or tall, muscular men off shirt. They see him as a potential mate. Don't be surprised to see that same bodybuilder get dumped a few weeks into a relationship. All this because of the natural brain wiring we have.
You can't beat evolution. You're always going to be constrained by brain wiring, but you can condition certain things. And also sometimes people are selecting for somebody who's really nice, really funny. We get along so well. I mean, there are other criteria, right?
I'm just trying to get you to say it's okay for us to be shallow, really, at the end of the day.
It's as okay to be shallow as being shallow is important to you, right? There are people who are like, they have their list.
Just like men, women also have their natural wiring. They are naturally wired to fall in love with men who show them affection and kindness, more than men who are just handsome or rich. You see, it's not all about the body, money, or sex, even though society today has made women seem like they are all after guys with killer bodies or truckloads of cash. I mean, that's what we see in movies, social media, clubhouses, you name it. But the truth is that these things only attract certain kinds of women, and only for the short term. They never really attract high-value women.
You asked about income, and I want to make sure that, because I had David Buss on my podcast, and he's really the expert on this, so we're going to have to fact-check this with him. But yes, it's true that resource potential is an important variable, because people have to think about safety and childcare and a number of things. And that never gets discussed because it's not as edgy as thinking like, oh yeah, it's all about money, it's all about beauty, it's all about this, it's about the Lamborghini. It's like, no, like how is he going to treat you, right? Because the last thing you want is someone with a ton of reproductive potential, resource potential, who's going to treat you like garbage. Chances are they're not going to stay with you. Or you're going to be there, but then they're going to bring in other mates.
You see, just like real men will look past a woman's beauty when they wish to commit to her or even marry her, women will surely look past a man's physique and resources. They'll be more interested in how the man treats them, as this will prove the man is someone they can be with for the long term. This is something that has been proven statistically.
More important than any other feature across all cultures is that the woman reports that she sought someone who is kind to them. Not necessarily kind to everybody, but kind to them. Right? Kind to them. Okay, so even if you think of like extreme money, right? Extreme money, or you think of extreme bodies or extreme resources, right? That somebody has. Women, in terms of who they tend to pair up with long term, assuming heterosexual, right? They're heterosexual, because here we're making a bunch of assumptions.
You will find evidence that women love men who are kinder to them even across different cultures, races, and regions. The reason is that women are more sensitive than men. Females love attention, and this is why a bodybuilder who spends more time with his gym equipment than his wife may soon end up with a divorce. On the other hand, an average income skinny guy who showers his wife with gifts and kisses every morning will mean the whole world to her. Little things like letting her in on your plans and dreams, complimenting her looks, or showing her off to your friends can really put a lady in a good spot with you. Of course, some girls are just too attention-seeking and needy, but generally all women love attention as it gives them a sense of reassurance and importance to their man. She'll like to be listened to when she talks and would also like to be advised on what to do when she's confused. These are little acts of kindness women pay attention to. Now you may wonder, are all women just into kinder men? What about gold diggers?
Right. Yeah. Now, then people say, well, what about this notion of gold diggers? And by the way, there are male and female gold diggers. And this also varies by culture, whether or not women tend to work or not work. Overall, again, I don't mean to, be a dead horse with this, but it's really that kindness towards them is critical, but not necessarily kindness to everybody.
Yeah, there are gold diggers. But just as Huberman has clarified, even gold diggers won't stay if the man is toxic or treats him like trash. A lady may like a guy and marry him for the money, but chances are she will only be faithful to that guy if he's affectionate with her. Here's another baffling thing. Contrary to what these data have pointed out about women desiring kinder men, the mentality most men have today is to be harsh, bold, and unforgivingly cruel, or what society calls an alpha male. There's so much buzz about what kind of men the women prefer. Is it the bold, dominant, brutal alpha males, or the kind and secure males who don't bother identifying with any category? If you look closely, you'll see that most so-called alphas are bullies and don't show kindness to women. It's the so-called betas that actually have the extreme kindness trait. There's quite a controversy in our world today over this topic. Should you be the bold, confident alpha or the simple, kind beta to attract women more? Well, it's highly unnecessary to be confident as a man, but it's bad to be confident and unkind. The best thing to do is to develop your confidence and resources as much as possible and be kind to the woman you love. You don't need to be kind to everybody, but your woman would like it so much if you are particularly kind to her.
With this, but it's really that kindness towards them is critical, but not necessarily kindness to everybody.
Women always use their foresight to know that men who are kind to them will equally be kind to their kids. And guess what? It's true. Loving husbands almost always end up as loving fathers. Statistics have shown that most men don't like entering into long-term relationships with pretty women because they don't feel confident enough to keep them. Most times, pretty girls have lots of options when it comes to guys, and while some guys wouldn't mind shooting their shot, others would feel they stand no chance at all.
If you look at sort of who people select to have sex with versus who people select to try and form long-term relationships with them, I mean, there are many men who would not choose to be with the woman that is most attractive to everybody because they don't have the confidence they could keep her.
That's
right?
a good point.
Even if she's not a flirt and wouldn't be looking, right? Even if she didn't have a wandering eye. Some men deliberately wouldn't want to be with the most beautiful. People tend to match up pretty closely in terms of attractiveness.
The same too goes for ladies. Some women see very handsome guys as flirts or ladies' men, and they assume guys like these have lots of ladies begging to be with them. But here's the trick. Even if you are such a guy, if you truly want to keep a girl, then treat her in some way differently than you treat other girls. This special treatment will convince her that you truly love her and will win her heart.
There's also something very special to people about the other person who is very desired by a lot of people, treating them particularly nicely.
Yeah,
right? Like, I mean, you hear this notion of being picked, right?
Yeah.
And
if you want to keep a woman, show her unique kindness. You can do this in many ways. Buy her gifts, take her out, give her attention, comfort her when she needs it, compliment her, tell her, "I love you," and other sweet words, and do everything you can to be romantic. You must not show these kinds of gestures to every girl. Only the woman you truly love and want to be with for the long term.
because people think, oh, it's all about money. It's not all about money. It's about safety and kindness, because you're talking about a long-term bond.
Do you think women fall for alpha males rather than men who are kind? Let us know in the comments section. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Until then, take care.